Good morning. I think it's still morning for a couple more minutes. Won't last long. I decided to come on and stream for a few minutes and just take a few seconds to think about what's important. New Year's has long been a time when people talk about these cliched ideas about having a New Year's resolution starting starting fresh by February or March. Everybody's no longer going to the gym. Good morning, Commander. Glad you're here. I'm glad somebody's up and at 'em. I got to get back on my normal schedule. I've been off for a week and a bit for Christmas and took a few days off. It's usually pretty quiet this time of year anyway for us at work, so I haven't done much. It was very busy Christmas time. Much calmer for the rest of the week. Got kind of ill for a few days. Didn't last too long. Got back, got back up and at it, and I feel like I'm slowly recovering, which is nice. So I thought I'd come and talk about what I'm going to change about life for me going forward. It's not really a New Year's resolution. It's just something I've realized with a few calmer days, a few days where I haven't been up to much, that I need to think about not changing who I am, but taking myself as who I am and where I'm at, and just accepting that I'm me. And had a friend remind me that yesterday, and I want to appreciate that person, but I'm not gonna name names. I'm just gonna say I appreciate it. And sometimes hard to not criticize yourself all the time. And I think a lot of times resolutions are about that. When we make New Year's resolutions, which are kind of something everybody's talking about, it makes me it makes me realize that there's almost an industry built around it. And it's interesting, being someone who's addicted to YouTube stuff. It makes an interesting time looking at what comes up in my feed. And so I've noticed a few different things. It's some really interesting stuff coming here, there, and everywhere. And so I've had polls coming up. Are you doing a New Year's resolution? Are you not doing one? Are you going to start at the gym today? Are you going to start a new diet? Are you going to start, or give up something? Are you going to quit smoking? Are you going to quit drinking? Are you going to do whatever? I don't know. There's all sorts of this nonsense. I know over on Slim's channel, we've talked about this, these crazy ideas people have of like doing a whole month of something. No Fap November was hilarious. Oh, Commander, that's great. That's fantastic. Um, the unless you had a 30-pound tumor removed, in which case, well, that's also fantastic. But I think we all look at the world as an idea that if you're too big, you got to be smaller. If you're too small, you got to be bigger. If you're too this, you're too that. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not muscular enough. You're not clear skinned enough. You're not the right hair color. You're not the right eye color. You name it. Like, you're missing this. You're missing that. We're constantly picking on ourselves, but also the world around us. We're constantly inundated with things on our phones or television screens if we still have them. Hey, Trees, good to see you. So, yeah, I just thought I'd come and talk about some of that because I've seen a lot of ads. See a lot of this hair color is the easiest thing to fix. Well, I don't know, Commander. Not a whole lot I can do here, But I guess makeup changed top of my head. I do have a beard I could color. I've noticed the last couple of years I've been getting some white streaks in my beard, and I'm getting to be an old man. I'm I'm getting pretty close to 50. I'm not quite there yet. But after 47 and a half years of kicking around this planet, I've learned a few things, but I haven't figured it all out yet. But I'm gonna say that accepting myself as who I am um, is an important thing to do because I'm really easily able to really easily able to point out to other people that hey, if you were this or that, what a change you are on the inside. And I have a lot of trouble saying it to myself. Um, I'm really, hey, Dave, welcome. I'm really easily able to say to myself, this is terrible. You need to fix this. And I would never say that to somebody else. And I think we all probably are aware of this. I mean, there are a few people out there that are, and I think we even see it as like a personality defect. If you're able to say to yourself, hey, you're awesome, everything's perfect, and you're able to criticize everybody else, we consider that a major character defect. Um, but beating up on ourselves isn't right. It's not the way to go. And I really just came on to say that. And I appreciate people are coming to watch what's going on here. Because I have a small channel. I don't have a wide reach, but my wife was talking to me about this conference coming up, and it's in April. So I'm gonna go. It'll be, it's been about at that point it'll be about a year since the first time I was at one of these conferences live in person. I, attended a bunch online and not participated other than as a commenter and a viewer. And because I started my work in advocacy pretty much during COVID. It really hit hard at that point. It changed the way things were going for me. So without getting into like a long story, I think I'll just quickly recap that back in 2018, I was first recommended by my cardiologist I should get bariatric surgery. At that point, I was probably, I'm going to say, roughly 50 pounds heavier than I am now. Um, I had been, I got heavier, um, and then I got lighter on my own a bit. But yeah, no, like today I'm like, I haven't weighed myself in a week. I probably gained a few pounds over the holidays. I've been not adhering to my lifestyle diet, I'll call it, because I try to do the same thing all the time. I try to stick with a certain number of calories, a certain ratio of fat, protein, and carbs. I try to eliminate highly processed, refined carbs. That seems to work well for me. That's a good thing for me. It's not for everybody. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change what I do or how I do it. I'm going to try to do more exercise. I started physio in December, which has helped me a lot. I've really not kept up with the workout things I'm supposed to do. They're quick little things, 10-minute routines. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna get back at it. I'm not gonna resolve to do anything new. I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna try to add in the exercise I used to like doing. I used to love doing weightlifting, and I'm gonna add that back into my routine as soon as I'm feeling strong enough and mobile enough to do it. And I'm gonna keep working. I'll be back to work tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I've got to wake up early again, so I'm gonna have to go to bed early tonight and be halfway as normal. My sleep schedule has gotten totally messed up. But I'm gonna say a few things about things that I dislike a lot that I see this time of year because I consider them to be predatory on people's. I can call it self-loathing. I think a lot of people have that. I know I have it. I'm gonna try to give that up. So Here it is. Multi-level marketing companies come out this time of year with all sorts of bullshit. I bought a treadmill and 2 canes. Oh, that's great, Aunt Jer. I have a treadmill too, and I'm gonna use that, and I might even use it today to get myself moving because I don't walk as much at home as I do when I'm at work, going up and down machines and in and out of my truck and up and down the trailers and putting chains on. Um, I always get in at least 10,000 steps in a day doing work, but when I've been off, I haven't been doing as much of that. I've gone on some very short walks around. I've been extremely lethargic, and I wasn't feeling well too. So, but Aunt Jer or Jer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Aunt Jer, I don't know if you want this shout out or not, but I'm just gonna say thank you because you helped me with my I'll call it my song that I released late last night. It was the last thing I did in 2023 on YouTube, and it was I think I had 10 minutes to spare. But Aunt Jer's given me some good critical feedback and helped me improve things. Not perfect, but I put it on there, and maybe I'll redo some of them because Aunt Jer's given me additional great critiques about what could be better. And I'll see if I can improve things as I go with that. But I've seen the multi-level marketing. They come out with these things. They're predatory on multiple levels because they're predatory on people for their money to buy into a product that they're gonna sell. They pretend that's what they're selling, and they sell a dream, right? Um, I don't like that. I don't like that. And then I also am just gonna say that I had an interaction with somebody who had bought into one of these things, and I really made them upset. And because I said, "Hey, this is snake oil." This was a few years ago, and it was a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. And they'd said, "Hey, like, check this out," and they recommended it to me. No, Andrew, you do give helpful feedback, and it's been good feedback. And I think, okay, all right, I'm gonna check on some stuff. My wife's just sent me a note while I've been down here, but she was out of the house picking up my daughter when decided to start this up because I finished a part of my video game and I just wanted to switch gears. Um, yeah, I've been working on it like off and on through the thing, and I finally completed one module of the video game, and I'm putting it down for a bit because it's been driving me nuts because I kept on having to restart this one section. Anyway, I'm gonna I'm gonna say the ads for the gym memberships, the Pelotons, the Bowflexes, the gym memberships. Up in Canada here, Good Life Fitness is one of the biggest gyms out there, and then there's a few others that are pretty famously known. We've got Orange Theory. I think people in North America probably know is they have ad campaigns going on. There's LA Fitness is another big one. I think that has a lot of big chain up here. And there's lots of little ones that'll just put little signs up and around town and maybe do more. Like social media is kind of good to advertise what you do in a more focused way, which I think is fantastic. So anyway, Andrew, I hope we hear that you're doing well on the treadmill and canes balance. I don't know if your treadmill has the side things to hold on to, and I find it being my size, I find it really good to have something to hold on to. Um, and I used to walk with cane after I had my kidney failure. I came out of the hospital and I couldn't walk without a cane, so I I couldn't balance myself. I was just weak, I think. And it took me a couple of weeks to get to the point where I could walk on my own. Park and Rec. Okay, it's $10 a part C. Oh, okay. So that's like a local government run gym, and those are great. So Getting out and getting activity is fantastic. I'm not saying people shouldn't do it, and if a New Year's resolution gets you out there, that's awesome. But, what I dislike is um, the constant advertising of, and this time of year is just particularly prevalent. Um, and they take time to, um, make people feel bad about themselves. They take time to, push people's buttons about things they're not satisfied with, and then turn that into a money-making opportunity. And some people don't like big gyms because they sign you up for contracts you can never get out of. Um, and I get that. It is annoying. And some gyms have, you know, almost, completely collapsed because of their terrible management style. And I will say that, like, I'm not putting down Good Life, or I've never been to LA Fitness other than to check them out. I haven't signed up with them. Um, and they have good equipment, and they have lots of locations, and they have decent washrooms and showers and change rooms and stuff. Like, I can't complain. It's a decent chain. The Good Life and LA Fitness, from what I've seen, is very similar. I think there's a few other big chains out there. I think they're all good. Anyway, oh, it doesn't. Okay, so Anchor is explaining that it has to fit in their trailer. So yeah, no, yeah, sure, I get that, and yeah, I've seen those treadmills that are basically just like a platform. Because all that extra stuff, like the little computer and handles and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, and sure. I know the feeling because I've signed up and I've had, and usually it's not because I don't want to go. I enjoy going. I've always enjoyed working out. I've always had a good time weightlifting and stuff like that. I don't know why. I've just always had a good time with it, but it isn't for everyone. Um, but the gym can be a really difficult place to go when you're a person of a large size, or a person of a lack of skill or knowledge. Um, and I've done a lot of reading about what's the right way to do weightlifting and stuff like that. And I've worked with some trainers off and on. I've learned a few things. I'm by far not an expert, um, but I really enjoy doing it. I enjoy the challenge of moving my weightlifting up, and I'm an untrained weightlifter. I've done the powerlifting lifts mostly. I haven't done a lot of the Olympic lifts. I think they're both great weightlifting techniques, and I really enjoy time spent fighting against myself to do better. So I'm not putting that down, but I'm putting down the messaging that we hear, and the idea that you're not good enough as you are. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know, Andrew, if we've ever talked about you know, being a larger size, but if you're having trouble finding the right one, then you've got the same issue I have. And the one I bought specifically because of its weight capacity. Because when I first started, I was very nearly 400. I've been over 400 pounds, and I'm back down in the 330s. I think. I suspect I might even be 340. And yeah, asshole. Um, I get it. Um, it does suck doing it alone. Um, and being motivated on your own is tough. Going to the gym on my own was never a problem for me, but it can be for lots of people. Having a workout buddy is a great thing if you're into that and you've got the time. When the gym's mental, Answer, it a lot of it can handle someone my size, but you can tell some of the pieces are not. You can tell. And I'm not gonna call anybody out or ask anybody to say what size they are. And it doesn't matter. Who we are as people isn't really based on that. But I definitely beat myself up for it, and that's what I'm gonna stop doing. Yeah, you're right. So some of them do. So it's getting better. It's getting better. So this is something I'm working on, and I'm hoping to get some traction with this, and with Obesity Canada. I'm getting some more documentation for this to help. I'm talking to my own doctor's office. I'm going to talk to some others as well. Um, but to get that. Yeah, Andrew, I hear that. And I try not to. Okay. Oh, Commander, you're still here. Okay. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Commander. I hope I can participate. I've heard some talk about it, but I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but you'll let me know. Anyway, I think for people that enjoy Slim's channel as well, which I'm sure some of you do, and I know I see Aunt Jer come by there, and maybe I'll see more. Um, I know Slim was part of Purple's Christmas thing, and Slim, I had company over last night when Slim was doing his New Year's show, so I missed out on that. Um, but yeah, I always enjoy dropping by. I've been on vacation. It's been tougher because my family's been around, and neither am I gonna leave them to go do it, nor am I going to have that show around my children, because it's a great show, but it's not for kids. Um, yeah, so you're talking about the high protein, yeah. And as well, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but look into a diet that also includes healthy fats, because they can help a lot. It may or may not work for you. It's worth giving a few weeks to, though, to see if it suits your the way your body metabolizes. Um, and that's one of the things that, like, that comes up a lot. Um, and I don't know how many people watch Nitty's program. I was on there the other night. It was great having a chat. And there was a guy came on there for a very short time and was talking about, wondering why we're talking about weight at all, like why it's something I deal with. He made a comment like, you just got to eat less and exercise or whatever. All the, that's such an oversimplification. And if it worked, I wouldn't have this problem, because I've done all sorts of eating less, and lots of eating less, lots of working out more. Um, I've lost a few pounds doing it here and there, but it's never stayed off, and it's never stayed that way. Multiple conflicting dietary requirements. The answer, I'm on a keto FODMAP diet, and I have let myself slip on it, and it has made me uh, yeah. And so, I'm not gonna tell you what to eat or how to eat. I'm just saying, if it's something that works for you, it's worth checking. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't do. A residual diet. Okay. Yeah, these things, people don't understand this, and I sort of understand, but I don't have it all. Yeah. Yeah, Commander, it's just one of those things. It's a struggle. So one of the things that people don't understand, and I'll say this now, and I'm not going to get into a lot of science, but mostly because I'm not a scientist in that regard, but I've read quite a few things. I've heard quite a few things, and I've talked to people that are doing research, including when I was at the vascular conference. The people presenting with me are PhDs doing research right now on, in many cases, on mice, and they're working on getting therapies together. Um, but what they're finding is that there's a lot of different hormones, chemicals, and things that go on in the body. But when you have metabolic derangement of any kind, it it affects everything that goes on in your body. So a calorie isn't just a calorie. The types of calories you eat matter. The way your body handles them is different, and the way your body burns and saves and stores energy versus what it burns and how it uses it is all changed by the type of what's coming in. And there is a mathematical calculation to it, but the number of different systems that are working on taking nutrients and distributing them through your body and helping helping the systems in your body work that need fuel. And your body needs good fuel and good quality fuel no matter what. But the types of different diets people have and what they're dealing with, like Aswa is dealing with cancer, and chemo. That's chemo changes a lot about how your body is. Some people can't even do it at all because it causes issues. Um, but the alternative is pretty dire. Um, yeah. Yeah, and you're right. That you're gonna have arguments with people because there's a lot of people that say it's simple, and yeah, younger people that haven't had the struggle. Like I've had the struggle since I was young. Although when I look at pictures of myself as young, and you know, I'm like, I showed one at my presentation. This is me when I was in high school. I was obese then. Way overweight. I was on the insurance chart. I would have been 45 pounds too heavy. But that's the way it is, right? Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here in just a minute or two because I've been going for 26 minutes here, just yakking and saying what's going on. But I want people to think about. It was on a YouTube stream. Yeah, send me that answer because I like to see what other people are saying. So when we get to these conferences, one of the interesting things is you'll get all sorts of people talking and sharing experiences, and one of the most common experiences that people have is being shown, and this is something I've talked about, and this is the thing I'm gonna end on, is the reason why people get in their mind the idea that they're not okay is because they're showing what's ideal. And a lot of people have said for years, since at least back when I was a kid, people are saying, "Oh, this is all that's aimed at women. It's women are held to a certain body standard and ideal, and it's unreasonable." And they keep on saying that. But one thing that I'm working on, I've written a little piece on it, and I think it's going to get published in the. I think it'll be an Obesity Canada publication. It'll be like a blog or something, or a small snippet of it. But basically, what it's going to be is talking about how men silently sort of just don't talk about it, but they don't feel good, and that's sort of where I come from. Um, I've been told my whole life that being a man's about this, that, and the other thing. A lot of it has to do with being big and strong, and so when you're big and strong, that's okay. But when you're big and strong, but also a fat guy, that's not okay. People talk about the aesthetic they're looking for. They don't want a big guy like me. I mean, I'm kind of useful in certain types of sports, but that's not what they're talking about, right? When they show an ideal guy has, like, got a swimmer's body, right? V-shaped body. They're broad shoulders. Oh, I got broad shoulders. That's not a problem. But I'm built more like a I'm built more like a brick with a big belly than I am like a V. Um, I don't have super well defined muscles. I got strong muscles, but they're hidden by other tissue. I'm a hairy guy. I'm just, I don't look like the guy above me here. That's the AI idealized version of me. I put a picture of myself in AI made that motorcycle guy, and I was like, oh, that's kind of how I'd like to feel about myself. But that's not who I am or how I really look. Under my clothes, I'm not what I want to look like. Should I let that should I let that change how I feel about myself? No. Nobody should let that happen. But it does indeed happen. And I'd really like everybody to take a minute to think, if you had magic, the kind of magic a lot of us who are skeptical say isn't possible. If you made yourself look the way you want to look immediately, like if it was like, changing a skin in a video game, say, you can make yourself look a certain way. Um, oh, Aunt you're saying an important thing. So I'm gonna come to that in a second. I was gonna say, I know what I'm supposed to be, and I know that isn't realistic. And if I actually changed myself and had that magic button, would it change who I am inside? No. It might change how I'm perceived and how I'm accepted or not. And it hopefully wouldn't change me to the kind of person that puts down and makes fun of people who aren't. And I try to be mindful of that. I try to remember that, people who are there are things I have that other people don't. I don't want to make fun of people that don't have what I have, nor do I want to be made fun of for the things I don't have or that I have too much of, which is adipose tissue in my case. Um, yeah, so I think so. Andrew and Aso are both pointing at something is that the aesthetic that's presented to us as the ideal is not necessarily what people are actually attracted to, and I think that's important. It's important to know that there's more than one type of attraction, and physical attraction can actually be there for things that aren't what are portrayed. And if we add into that, and I think this is important, that you know the skin deep, what do you call that, a cliche, beauty's only skin deep. Well, no, it's not. It's the beauty of people, when you get right down to it, is right to the core. um I mean, you want to slice them open and look at it, but yeah. So yeah, I think I'm assuming people know what you mean when you say a thick girl. And so Aunt Jur and Asho both said similar things, in that Aunt Jur said, well, I can put this up here, right? Here we go. Does that work? There we go. Oh no, I clicked it. I clicked it too many times. Society's ideal is gross to me. Visible muscles are gross to me. They're like deformities. We're not supposed to like bigger people. Well, Answer, you know what? I think we're allowed to like whatever we want to, and I'm not gonna hold that against anybody. Um, I have my own set of things I'm attracted to. And yeah, it's I have my ideals. That are set in my brain, and they're a mix of things. Um, and my wife is all of those things and more. She's actually, and my wife's often said she didn't envision someone like me when she first saw me, as someone she was attracted to, but she became more and more attracted to me the more time we spent together. And I say the same thing. Like, my wife's a beautiful woman, and she's beautiful inside and out. And you know, I gotta say, I'm extremely lucky to have that, to have somebody that loves me, understands me, that wants to raise our children together. And our love is not about looks. It's not tied to that at all. It's not dependent on that. But she's a beautiful woman. She always has been. She's always been someone I'm attracted to. So, um, but she's a very kind and thoughtful person, and I think that's important. And she's an amazing mother who puts our children at the forefront of her thinking all the time. And I like to do the same thing. But yeah, Commander said something here. I think yeah. Um, yeah, this is true, Commander. There are some people, like, there's also some people who are, the epitome of what's socially accepted to be super attractive, who are also just lovely people. Um, and so I wouldn't try to presume what somebody is based on any of that. And I think a lot of us that are in the I think a lot of us are atheists, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us are atheists. We're pushing back against something. And I think there's a lot of expectations about how, like, I don't know, particularly in the sort of religious background that I'm from, there's a lot of, and just society in general, there's a lot of this idea of, like, you have to dress a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you have to comport yourself in a certain way, and that, there's this and that you do. And I think, yeah, and I think Aunt Jer said something I'm going to put up here too, because she said something important here. We're supposed to look a certain way and have to be attracted to a certain thing. So but that's not true. That's not true either. But between societal norms and religious doctrine, and I'm not one of the people that's been super directly affected by it, but I've certainly seen it. And the more I research about, um, um, Aunt Jer's trying to explain something about pronunciation, and I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if Aunt Jer has said where they live in the world, and it doesn't matter. They don't have to, but I know Asshole lives in. Oh, I don't want to screw it up. I'm pretty sure it's Indiana. Um, and I know that American accents vary state to state, region to region. Oh, Seattle. Okay, yes, you have told me that. So yeah, the Northwest, the North Pacific Northwest in the Canadian side is supposed to be one of the most neutral accents out there. I'm not sure what mine is, but yeah, you are in Indiana, so yeah, and I mean, obviously, if you're from somewhere else, you're gonna have an accent that's a little different, but uh, hot, thick is all right. I don't understand any of this. Um, and the muscle mass migrated to my midsection. So, so Dave, I'm assuming you also have a keg. You don't have accents in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, no, it's actually not true. It's just that I think regionally the the way the accent is sounds a little bit more neutral because some of the things I've actually watched some programs about this. I don't even know where they came from. They came into my feed, kind of like the ones where people are like diving and revealing bathing suits became like a big thing. And now I've gotten a whole bunch about singing. And this was before I started making any music content too, just by the way. But one's about singing voices and so there was a couple. So there's two that I've seen a whole bunch of, and I didn't go searching for this ever. I never searched for women diving in tight bathing suits. I never or small bathing suits, I guess more. I never searched for um I never searched for people speaking dialects and accents, and I never searched for people singing, but I got all of those as recommendations, and some of them are pretty interesting. Um yeah. Yeah, so I was saying something I've had that too, right? Yeah, newscasters is called received pronunciation. Yes, and that's like so in I guess the UK and whatnot, the received pronunciation is very sort of proper British type English. And I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think of a British accent, but they also think of like Dick Van Dyke's terrible Cockney accent or whatever it was supposed to be. Really not sure. I think a lot of times when people try to do the accent from a different region, it comes off funny. And I'm kind of stuck with my Southern Ontario accent. I can't really get rid of it. We say things a funny way, and Muslim apologists from the kind of first time I heard it. Oh, yeah. And Dave, are you in Ohio, Dave, or somewhere? I know you're. Somebody said you're on the Ohio River, but the Ohio River, I think, travels through more than one state. So I might be wrong, but yeah, no. The people I know from Ohio actually have. Um, it's the accents a little bit, but um it's more of like a dialect or like uh the words they use are more of a Northwest Ohio, so Northwest. So that's like towards Toledo side. So the people I grew up hanging out with were from Cleveland, so maybe a slightly different accent, but they were from outside of Cleveland, and they had a mix of what I knew from people that lived in more southern states. There was a lot of people that came from U.S. states to where I used to hang out when I was a kid. So, um, and one of those people from Cleveland married a good friend of mine, and she was a good friend of mine too. Still is actually. I still talk to those people somewhat regularly. Don't ever mail a package with U.S. Postal Service. Okay, I I won't. I'll keep my package where it belongs. Um, Yeah, I'd say Dave has a bit of an accent, but, I don't find like, I find it to be one I'm familiar with. It doesn't really hit me. Andrew, I don't know if you ever speak online, so I don't know if I've heard your voice. Asho has kind of what I expect, sort of mid-American accent. Um, oh, you sent David Gibson, still not there. I tried to not send too many gifts this year, but, some of the ones I sent have gone places. Anyway, I think here we go. Yeah, my wife wants to know where I've gone, so, um, I'm gonna wrap it up, but I wanna thank you all for coming. Um, I'm gonna say something that's self-evident, and that is, be yourselves. It's a rare occurrence, Andrew. Okay. All right. Well, Andrew, I speak too much. I say too much, and but I'm done. I'm done speaking for the moment. I'm gonna go hang out with my family. So I want to say I appreciate all you guys, uh, girls, and anything in between. I say guys all the time. So anyway, um, yeah. If I ever call you guys, don't uh, don't get. Oh, you were on Neil's show, Andrew. I gotta look that up then, Andrew, and find out more about you. Um, Anyway, thanks to everyone, and yeah, when I say guys, I don't know if this is a regional thing, but when I say guys, I just mean everybody I'm talking to. I don't mean any gendering by that, but, I have been in some minor trouble for that. So, you know what? I don't know if you're getting in too much trouble online or not, but, you know what? It's hard sometimes when you're passionate about something, um, to, I should have Andrew on my show. So, Andrew, you're invited anytime. I'm gonna shut this one down right now because my wife wants to know where the heck I went. And so I'm just gonna say goodbye. This will be the end of it. But yeah, Andrew, you should come on my show. I should have a bunch of people on my show, and I want to talk to more people. I want to have some of the people that have been on before back again to talk more, and it'll be great. Thanks, everybody.